Empire, one of the oldest civilizations in recorded history, dates back 5,000 years. The pharaohs who ruled this vast empire were considered gods. In life, they were omnipotent, and in death, they were reborn into an eternal afterlife. For use in this afterlife, the pharaohs' bodies were mummified, and they were entombed in enormous pyramids, along with everything they might need on their journey. But these impressive pyramids acted like beacons for ancient thieves who found their way inside and stole the pharaoh's treasure. So the pharaohs abandoned the pyramids and concealed their tombs in a remote valley. But even this, Valley of the Kings as it became known, was discovered and the tombs ransacked. This proved extremely frustrating for archaeologists who began digging in the valley in the 1800s. Decades of work had failed to reveal a single unplundered royal tomb. That all changed in 1922 when archaeologist Howard Carter made a spectacular discovery. It was the tomb of a little-known pharaoh, Tutankhamun. Howard Carter was born in 1873 and grew up in Norfolk, England. Like his father, he was a gifted artist. While still a teenager, Carter was hired by the Egyptian Exploration Fund to draw illustrations of their discoveries, and in 1890, Howard Carter left for Egypt on his first archaeological expedition. In Egypt, Carter quickly made a name for himself. He was meticulous and conscientious, and his watercolors were considered the best in the business.
Here he really did excel. He had the patience and the talent to make drawings that literally come alive. They have not just a technical accuracy to them, but clearly Carter was sympathetic to his subject. Clearly he understood it. They have that three-dimensional look that really did make his drawings, I think, among some of the finest that were done in the early 20th century.
Even so, Carter had bigger ambitions. He wanted to become an archaeologist himself and lead his own expedition in the Valley of the Kings. To that end, Carter dedicated himself to his work. He learned Arabic, taught himself how to read hieroglyphics, and he built close relationships with his Egyptian workers. In 1904, the Egyptian government took notice and hired him to oversee all archaeological activities along the Nile Valley. Carter was thrilled and he excelled in his position, but his difficult personality and quick temper would soon get in the way. Not long after taking the job, Carter reluctantly became involved in a scuffle with some drunken tourists. When he refused to apologize, the Egyptian Antiquities Service fired him.
Carter was not the kind of person to back down, not the kind of person to apologize if he said something on the spur of the moment. And as a consequence, Carter found himself more often than not in difficult positions of his own making.
For the next few years, he scraped by conducting guided tours of Egyptian monuments and selling watercolors to tourists. He had no money and no prospects. But in 1907, his luck changed. He was introduced to George Edward Stanhope Molyneux Herbert, the 5th Earl of Carnarvon. Lord Carnarvon was born at Highclere Castle to a life of wealth and privilege.
He loved racehorses. He loved, at one point he drove fast cars. He liked to travel around. He liked partying. He had been brought up totally spoiled. Amounts of money that didn't matter. You know, he never looked at what the balance sheet was.
An adventurer and amateur historian, in the early